Greetings, my friends and neighbors, one and all. I wish to speak with you today about the greatest hoax that's ever been perpetrated upon humanity. The greatest hoax that's ever been perpetrated upon humanity. What could it be? It has to do with money ripoffs? No. It is simply a teaching hoax, a fear based perception that goes into our genetic makeup so that it becomes a reaction to the circumstance. Fear has been used to trigger a deep seated emotional response to what? What is the one word that we're dealing with in this subject? Death. 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 He's dead, Jim, as Bones would say in Star Trek to Captain Kirk. He's dead. What does it mean for a person to be dead? How is that a hoax? People do die. Their bodies cease to function. It ceases to move. It begins to decay, and it must be disposed of in some sort of ceremonial and appropriate emotional way, the body. But the body is not the life, you see. And so death is a hoax. Why do I say it's a hoax? Okay, so it comes out to a fundamental teachings of who you are. Who are you? You are a individuated consciousness existing in the multiverse as part of the collective consciousness of all humanity. You are but a drop in the ocean of the collective consciousness, yet once removed as a drop from the ocean, you are an individuated consciousness, and this is how you exist now in this three-dimensional reality on this planet Earth at this time. So we are but an individuated drop of a universal consciousness existing. And what happens to this consciousness? Well, here's the greatest news you might have ever forgotten. You already are immortal, eternal, everlasting, no beginning, indestructible. You are. Your body? No. You. What is the part of you that is that? It is your consciousness. It is your spirit. It is your soul. Which word applies? Well, any and all, because you see, we are a very literate world, and words rule the mind. We must stop thinking in words and definitions of words and restrictions of words and start thinking in thoughts. Thoughts, not words. And when we think in thoughts, not words, then we can be more united with reality. And by that I mean we come to recognize that our consciousness, for want of a better word, we'll use that one for now, our consciousness is what makes us conscious of our existence here on the planet. When we are awake and our eyes open and functioning, and we are receiving information from our five senses, this is referred to as being conscious. We are able to process data, reach conclusions, and form plans. This is part of being conscious. Now, when we become unconscious, very much like some states of our natural nightly sleep, then we are in a different sort of reality. And then we can become more aware of how big this reality really is. But as we said, the greatest hoax that's ever been perpetrated upon mankind is the fear of death, because death is nothing more than simply a change in the frequency of the vibration of the energy that is you. We are all simply energy. there really does exist nothing solid in the sense that it is something through and through, one piece solid. There are no solids in existence. See, it's an illusion because we understand how things are put together, but we've kind of forgotten how to connect the dots, you see. So everything is energy. Atoms are energy. Electrons are energy. Nucleus and protons, neutrons are energy. And they're looking for the smallest particle in their um, CERN, um, cyclotron, uh, accelerator for subatomic particles, and doing all this very, very expensive research, supposedly looking for the smallest particle, which they like to call the God particle, the Higgs boson. They make up lots of names. But the reality is that all these particles are simply little bundles, spheres of energy with energy things spinning and spinning, and one is spinning this way and one is spinning the opposite way, and one has a positive charge and one has a negative charge. And so we have electromagnetic, and we have spin, and we have magnetism, and these forces of the spin effect that causes things to radiate in a certain way, the electro effect, the magnetic effect, all on these small particles, cause them to unite or to be separate. And if they're united in a certain way, then our physical hand will not pass through it and we perceive it as solid. But if it's united another way, then there's nothing there and it just goes right. See what you mean? It's all a perception of what we mean, because there is no such thing as solid, because everything is simply bundles of energy vibrating at various frequencies. And if the frequencies are not harmonic, things don't pass. If they are harmonic, they go right through. You see, so we are simply bundles of energy. Our consciousness is what makes us us, and that exists forever. It has always been, it always shall be, it is what we are. We are eternal beings that have been put into these human bodies and have been had our conscious memory affected so that we remember nothing except what we're experiencing through our senses, and our memory of what we were and what we are has been suppressed. It's still available, but unless we learn how to access it, it will remain suppressed. And the powers that be that put us in this condition know this information, and they will try to stop this information from being spread worldwide, but they will have no effect, because this is meant to be revealed at this time by myself and by many, many, many other teachers that are doing the exact same thing. So I'm very pleased to have been asked to assist in this education effort, to share what we all already know, but some of us have forgotten. So we need not fear death. It is but a change in frequency, like changing the channel on your radio or your TV or your, electronic device, like dialing a different number on your phone. It's just a different frequency. And the life energy that has been experiencing experiences here on this planet, which is what it's all about, gaining experiences during the lifetime, that life energy continues right on. And then it decides to learn from what it's learned, improve, and usually it tries again and comes back into another human body and starts experiencing a lifetime. But right now, in 2014, we are in the process of changing. We have been receiving energy from the center of the universe, from the galaxy at least. We know that the center of our galaxy is over by Sagittarius, and that's the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and there's been an energy wave coming from there, and the beginning parts of that wave has already started reaching, and it began back in 2012. But it's here now in 2014. In another couple of years, we're just going to be saturated in this energy. And this kind of energy affects our DNA. Now, the DNA just doesn't tell you what color eyes you have and color hair you have and how tall you and all that stuff. DNA is a miracle chemical. You just leave it at that, right? But what does it do? It's a transceiver. It transmits information and receives information and processes it and tells the cell what to do. And so our DNA is being reorganized. It's receiving right now new energy, information. It's all data. And our higher self knows what to do with that. And if we allow our lower self, our conscious self, just to call it higher, lower, whatever, it's just a term, don't take it too literal, but our conscious self, our day-to-day conscious interacting with the environment of the three-dimensional reality on this planet, that self has to change its perspective on what it recognizes to be true. And in doing that, death is taken out of a category all surrounded by all kinds of fear, and death is rearranged to be recognized as simply a change in frequency. There's nothing at all to fear. We all can be totally fearless of death, because if we die, we'll just come back again. It's just like, it's like a video game. Are you afraid to lose your video game? No, you know that you just push the button and you start over. It's the very same thing with this life. However, this is a vital important fact to remember in connection with that thought. Are you ready? Life on this earth is the most precious gift you can ever possess. Your very life, that you're able to have consciousness in this 3D reality at this time, participating in this reawakening of the human species on this planet. It's very exciting, and you're here for a purpose, to gain assistance in helping everyone else make the transition. The fact you're listening to this, you're already ahead of the wave. That's good. Everybody progresses at different rates. So our job is to help those behind us that are just starting to awaken to remember that the change is good. Whatever happens, it's good. It's good. Everything is good. Change is good. It's not bad. It's nothing to fear. See, and we have to work on those things. So we'll get back into more of that. But the fundamental truth about the greatest hoax upon humanity being the fear of death. And we can go on to all the multitude of things that religion has done to capitalize on this fear that has been inbred into humanity. But we can stop that delusion by simply recognizing that death is nothing more than a change in frequency. Mom just went on another channel, Dad. You can tune into her. And you know what? Every one of us have the ability to get our conscious self kind of repressed and let our subconscious self come to the surface, and then ask our subconscious self to deal only with workers of light and love and be protected from any of those that have malicious thoughts, and that we only want for the best good for all, and we have the law of divine law of nature, do no harm, implanted in our interactions. And then we can ask that these higher beings that vibrate at higher selves communicate with our higher self, our subconscious. And we ask that it be so. And it happens. So we can consciously, through our subconscious, communicate with anybody. We all have spirit guides, which are beings in this higher dimension that have been around for a long time. Some call them guardian angels. I call them spirit guides. And I have a spirit guide, and I only was aware of his name and about him roughly 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks and a day or two ago, because it was on June 26th, Friday, June 26th, 2014, that I was able to get into a deep state of self-hypnosis and contact my spirit guide, and he revealed many things to me. And so these spirit guides are only interested in assisting us, and there's no boogeyman here. There's no bad guy. Now those boogeymen, bad guys, whatever you want to call them, demons, they do exist. But the vast 99.9999999% of all creatures recognize the overwhelming value of love, and they're not out to get you. They're out to love you and help you. Now, there are some that are malevolent that don't recognize that, but they're very small. So we recognize them, we ask protection from them, but we don't let the existence of them hinder us from reaching out to embrace all other life, because humans and all other higher life forms are incredibly loving. And when humans start interacting with each other on a basis of love, we are absolutely beautiful creatures. So once we lose the fear of death, and we put away all that fear, and replace it with the other only dominant emotion, which is love, love, we replace it with love, then a great amount of manipulation that has occurred in our psyche is just poof, blown away like a cloud of smoke. And some may react, with those emotions that we talked about earlier, same kind of emotions that a person in grief goes through. They may react that way, but it will pass, and then we'll get to the final one, which is appreciation and joy for the newfound truths. And so this is an important truth I wanted to share with you towards the beginning here of our discussions, because once we recognize that death is nothing but a change in frequency, that we are all nothing but energy, that we are all the consciousness that exists in the body, and then at death the consciousness separates and continues on. It goes off to another frequency, and then usually decides to return to Earth. It doesn't have to, but they usually do. These spirits have a mission, they have a plan, they have a purpose, as we all do. And then they decide to come again and see what they can do the next round. And it's just like a big video game, play it again, push replay, push reset. There's nothing to fear. It's no more fearful than losing the favorite game on the video and having to push start again. Who cares? You don't even have to put in another nickel, you just push the button and it starts. So it doesn't cost anything to reset. That's the point. Oh, there was a little comment from my next door neighbor. I'm just sitting in the backyard of my home, but wanted to share these thoughts with you today. Thank you so much for your time, and until the next time, namaste.